Jina and Etiben. In the enchanting village of Mopongchuket, a tale of unexpected love began to unfold. Nestled among the lush hills of Mokokchung lived a man named Jina. He wasn't very good looking and he came from a humble family. Despite this, he possessed a brave spirit and an extraordinary gift for playing the traditional cup violin. On the other hand, Etiben was well known for her beauty and intelligence. She belonged to a wealthy family, living in a grand house surrounded by laughter and luxury. One fine evening, as Etiben strolled through her garden, she overheard whispers among her maidservants. To her surprise, she learned that the prettiest among them had fallen for the seemingly unattractive Gina. She could not understand why someone so lovely would choose someone like him. Amused, she teased the maid about her choice, unable to hide her disbelief. The offended maid shot back, challenging her. I dare you that you too could easily fall for someone like Gina. Edipin laughed confidently, shaking her head. That's impossible. To prove her point, the maid devised a plan with Gina to create a love potion. After carefully preparing the potion, she handed it to him, instructing, apply it on one side of your dowel before we put our plan into action. One bright afternoon, as Etiben and her maid returned home from a long days in the field, they were greeted by Gina. With a friendly smile, Gina took out his dowel and sliced a cucumber in half. He offered the half with the love potion to Etiben and handed the plain half to the maid. As the potion took effect, Etiben let out a soft yawn. Her senses suddenly heightened. With a gentle smile, she opened her lips, and a sweet melody poured forth, filling the air with enchanting songs of love for Gina. She sang, even if our house is broken, with boulders from our neighbor tumbling down, and even if the rain pours upon our humble home, darling, I would still choose to live with you. Moved by her heartfelt words, Gina replied, though I may go without food or drink, it feels as if I have feasted on the finest banquet and sipped from the clearest river every time I speak with you, my lady. And so, from that day, their love began to blossom. Etiben had many suitors competing for her hand in marriage. They lined up eagerly, and at the very end stood Gina. According to the old customs, Etiben carried a basket as she walked past her suitors one by one. Each man eagerly tried to place his shawl in her basket, but she did not give them a chance. However, when it was Gina's turn, she paused and allowed him to gently place his shawl inside. All the other suitors were rejected and Gina was chosen. Knowing that Etiben's parents would disapprove of their love, their bond only deepened. They secretly met in Longkham, a secluded spot 18 kilometers from their village, where they could share their dreams and laughter away from praying eyes. Gina would play his cup violin while Etiben sang along, their voices beautifully blending in the open air. However, their secret meetings did not remain hidden for long. Etiben's parents discovered their relationship and were clearly displeased. They viewed Gina as someone who could never provide a comfortable life for their daughter. Unable to bear their disapproval, the lovers eloped to a hilltop in a place called Mongchen. Their joy was short lived when she fell gravely ill, prompting Gina to take her back home. During this difficult time, a wealthy and eligible bachelor, Tenure, arrived to meet her parents, eager to win Etiben's hand. Her parents laid down a harsh condition. Whoever could bring the dowry of cattle first within the given time would win her hand in marriage. Upon hearing this, she hurried to find her love. Realizing that he could never gather such wealth on time, she decided to help. With determination, she removed her cherished necklace and handed it to him, hoping it would enable him to pay the dowry and prove their love. Tenure arrived, proudly presenting the dowry of cattle. His confidence and wealth greatly pleased Etiben's parents. They saw him as a perfect match for their daughter, and without hesitation agreed to give Etiben to him as his wife. However, her heart ached for Gina, but she was compelled to marry Tenure. Gina finally managed to gather the dowry and rushed to Etiben's parents, his heart filled with hope. But by the time he arrived, Etiben was already gone. It was too late as he realized their love had slipped away. Etiben found herself trapped in a loveless existence, void of compassion. Tenure showed her no respect or kindness. Instead, he subjected her to physical abuse and constant mistreatment. As the days turned into an endless cycle of suffering, Etiben felt her strength fading. Unable to endure the pain any longer, her only comfort came from Gina. Soon she began sneaking out of the house to meet him in the fields. Their secret meetings became a cherished routine until one fateful day when rumors of their secret meetings reached 10 years' ears. Furious, he set out to find her, calling her name.
Etiben! Etiben!
Hearing his voice, Etiben quickly urged Gina to leave. When they met, Tenyer began questioning her and his suspicions grew. Etiben denied all the accusations against her, trying to defend herself. In a fit of rage and jealousy, Tenyer starts beating her mercilessly. He hit her and threw her to the ground until she could move no more. Her unconscious body lay on the ground until Gina found her and carried her home. Despite her parents' efforts to care for her, Etiben's condition continued to worsen. She grew weaker and soon she passed away. When Gina heard the tragic news, he was so consumed by grief. Overwhelmed, he mourned deeply, unable to eat, drink, or sleep. His sorrow took a heavy toll on his body, and Gina died soon after. The villagers, aware of Gina and Ediben's inseparable love, mourned their loss and chose to cremate their bodies together. As the smoke rose from the fire, it swirled into shapes resembling the two lovers, appearing to hold hands as they ascend to the sky. In that moment, the villagers believed Gina and Etiben were reunited in the afterlife, their love transcending even death. Today, you can find memorial towers and beautiful sculptures honoring the two lovers at Mopong Chuket's Ecology Park. This lasting tribute celebrates their enduring love, inviting visitors to remember their story and find solace in the beauty of their eternal bond. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to discover more enchanting tales and rich traditions from the comfort of your home.